Welcome to adding images to your web page. This is Laura Cole from the Strategic Marketing Department, and I am the Web Content Manager. In this lesson, we'll go over how to upload an image into Cascade and how to add an image to your page. Let's begin by logging into Cascade if you're not already. I will be working in my LJ Cole folder under the Rollins Training folder. For those of you who have already done the adding text from a Word document lesson, I will be adding a photo of Jean-Michel Cousteau to the biography page I created for him. If you don't already have an images folder inside your training folder, I recommend doing that now. I find these helpful for organizing photos within my site. Once you have located your training folder, click on the images folder. You should see the following screen, and by clicking on the folder, you ensure your images appear where you want them to. Once you have the image folder selected, go up to New, then Rollins Training, then File, which has an icon that reminds me of a Polaroid. Click on File, and it should bring you to this page. Generally, when I'm working with images, I only use this first tab, the Content tab, because I find it to be the fastest way to upload images. However, the other tabs allow you to enter metadata, so the image can be found using Google search, and to change a system name if you didn't originally save the image with the name you wanted to use. In a second, we'll browse for the image to upload, but first here are a couple things to keep in mind before adding any photos. If you upload an image, you need to make sure that you don't have any spaces or symbols in the file name. If you want to add visual breaks between words, I suggest using the dash, so a file could be Rollins-College, but not Rollins-College. You also don't want images that are too large because they take a while to load. Generally, when working with web images, it's ideal to keep the DPI at 72. DPI stands for dots per image. For those of you who don't know what this is and who have Photoshop, you can find the DPI in Photoshop by going to Images, then clicking on Image Size. When looking at this original image of Cousteau, the DPI, which is listed as the resolution, is set at 300. This is the ideal size for printing, but is too large for the web. I can change this by highlighting the 300 and replacing it with 72. As you can see, this makes the image much smaller, but that's okay. One last thing before we move on. If you decide you want to give your image a new system name in the System panel, you must remember to add a file extension to the end, such as .jpg. Otherwise, the image will not come through and will instead show a string of gobbledygook. If you're just only uploading the image as is, you do not have to worry about this. Now we can move on to uploading our image. I have saved my file on my desktop so it will be easy to locate. I recommend creating a web images folder and storing all of your photos there so they will be easy to find later on. As you can see, I have no spaces in my image name, so it's ready to load. If you return back to Cascade, click on Browse under the Upload pane, and this will allow you to browse for your image. Again, make sure you still have the Images folder selected. Find your image, and click Open. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to worry about changing anything else, so all I have to do now is click Submit. You should be able to see your image, but it may appear distorted. That's okay. The image isn't actually distorted, but using this view, it stretches all images to appear in the dimensions of that particular screen. We're now ready to add our image to our page. Go back to your training folder and locate the page you would like to add your image to. I'll be working on the page called Cousteau, so I'll click on that page, then click on the Edit tab up at the top. This will open up your WYSIWYG editor. To place your image, click anywhere in the text you would like for it to appear. I want mine to appear at the top of the page, so I'll click before the word "for." Once you've done this, you can click on the icon that looks like a picture of a tree, which says Insert Edit Image. This will pull up a new window. Now we're ready to go find the image we just uploaded. To do this, you can either click on the double brackets or on the file icon. This will open up another window with all the files available to you. There are two ways to locate your image. If you've just uploaded your image, as we have, the fastest way to locate it is to click on the History tab. When you do that, your image appears and you can verify that that's the correct image you would like to add. The other way is to drill down through the folders until you arrive at your file. So I would click on Rollins, then Internet, then Rollins Training, then LJ Cole, then Images, and finally Cousteau. Once you've found your image, click Confirm. That will bring you back to the Insert Edit Image box. You will now see the link to your image. Below that is a box that says Alternate Text. This is a mandatory field as indicated by the yellow star. This will appear over the image whenever users roll over it with their mouse, but more importantly, it's required so your site is in compliance with web accessibility standards. This enables people with disabilities to navigate your site without barriers. When filling this out, you want to make sure you use proper punctuation. I will use Jean-Michel Cousteau's full name, but feel free to provide a more detailed description of your image. Below the alternate text area, you'll see alignment with the drop-down box. Because I want my text to wrap around my image, and I want my image to appear on the right, I'm going to select Right. Feel free to play around with these alignments to determine the best positioning for your image. Since I will have text wrapping around my image, the only other thing I need to worry about is horizontal spacing. This will provide a buffer between the image and the text. 5 pixels is what I usually recommend. Once you have all the information you need filled out, click Insert. You should now see your image appear in the WYSIWYG editor. However, I think my image is too large and I would like to make it a bit smaller. I can do this directly in the WYSIWYG editor by clicking on the image. This will make the handles appear, which are those little white boxes. Because I don't want to distort my image and I want to maintain the original dimensions, I can resize my image by holding down the Shift key while I drag one of the handles. As you can see, I can now alter the size of my image without worrying about destroying the image itself. Once you've positioned and resized the image to your liking, you can click Submit at the bottom of the page. You should now see your image on your page, and if you roll your mouse over the image, you'll see the alternate text you provided. Congratulations! That completes this lesson, adding images to your web page. If you have any questions, please contact John, Linda, or myself, Laura Cole, at webstrategy, all one word, @rollins.edu.